Hi, I'm Dan, and this is Dining with Dan. So with Valentine's Day coming up, I got a dish that will impress the pants off your day. It's a French dish, it's called coq au vin. Okay, to start this dish, we're going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees. Then I want to take about 5 or 6 ounces of sliced bacon. You want to throw that in the pan. You're going to cook that up and make sure to render all the fat out of it, all that grease. We're going to use that grease in our next step. So while that's cooking, you want to prepare your chicken. And you see here I have 6 chicken thighs that I've salted and peppered. We're just going to let those sit aside while we finish cooking the bacon, and then we'll go to the next step. And go back to the bacon. Make sure it gets stirred, gets good and rendered. Okay, as you can see, we're starting to get this good and browned. It's rendered out quite a bit of grease. We'll give it a couple more minutes before I pull this out. And that's about where I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, slide a spoon, and I'm going to pull that out. Set that aside on my plate. Alright. Now you want to keep the bacon grease in there. It's nice and hot, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to brown the chicken thighs. So you want to put them in there, skin side down first. Pretty big size. Normally don't want to overcrowd the pan, but we don't have much of a choice with these. I probably should have stuck with 5 thighs instead of 6, but the damage is done. So just want to give that a couple minutes on each side to brown. We're not trying to cook the chicken right yet. We're just browning it. And what we're doing on top of cooking the chicken, we're also creating a fond in the pan, which is going to add flavor to our vegetables and blend together nicely to caramelize the onions and the mushrooms. Alright, so that should be good on the chicken. When you pull that aside, put that back on the plate. Actually, I'm going to dump out some of this bacon grease. You want to keep only about, probably about 2 tablespoons of bacon grease. Turn that back down to medium. Then what we're going to do, you have pearl onions. The French make this with pearl onions, so we're going to throw prepared pearl onions in there. Also, actually going to throw a little bit of shallot in there. And then you want about 8 ounces of mushrooms in there. Cremini mushrooms are my favorite. We're going to throw those in there. So let all that start caramelizing there. Cook. Mushrooms try to escape. Apparently got away with it. It's brown. I'm taking it back up. Some of these pearl onions are pretty big. So we can cook that. That's going to take a bit. Probably looking about 15-20 minutes for those to cook. So I'm not going to bore you with the details, so I'm going to go ahead and shut the camera off and show you when we get more to where it's supposed to be. Okay, as you can see, we're still in the process of caramelizing these onions and mushrooms. While we're doing this, explain to you, if you've never cooked with pearl onions before, these are fresh pearl onions. I guess you could probably put frozen in, but if you're using fresh like I am, they can be a pain in the butt to peel. So the best way to peel them is actually you want to take a pot of boiling water, cut off the root side of the pearl onion, bring that water to boil, and you want to dump them in that, basically you're blanching them in that boiling water, so you want to dump them in there and put them in there for about 30 seconds, and that's it. And then you want to scoop them out and throw them into a pot of ice water so that they don't continue to cook. That stops the cooking process immediately. And then from there, you basically can grab one, you cut the other end off, and you pinch it, and it'll basically peel that skin right off. Trying to do it without blanching them, like I said, with such a small onion, that can be a pain. Alright, so we're right about where I want to be with this mushrooms and onions. You see it cook down. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create a roux. You want to put about a tablespoon of butter in there and a tablespoon of flour. And you also want to throw in about a teaspoon of garlic. Keep that stirring so that the flour doesn't burn. Now we're going to do that for about a minute. I just want to get that floury flavor out of it. You're not adding the flour for flavor, you're adding it to basically to thicken up the sauce when we put the juices in and put the liquids in. So right about there, I think we're good. First thing we want to put in is about a quarter cup of cognac. And what that's going to do is deglaze the bottom of the pan. So you want to basically put that in there. You want to, with your wooden spoon, you want to scrape the bottom of the pan. Get any of this burnt brown or burnt black crispy pieces off the bottom that from the bacon and the chicken that are basically pure flavor. That's the best part. So we're going to do that. And then you want to deglaze it for a minute or so. Do that. Next we're going to add 1.5 cups red wine. I just used a cooking wine because I'm not a big wine drinker. If you drink wine, a bottle of wine is basically about 3 cups. So you can put half of it in here and drink the other half of the wine bottle if you want. You want to reduce that down probably about half. So we're going to let that go. Actually, we're going to turn up the heat. So I'm going to crank that up to about medium-high to high. Okay, so once I got that boiling, I'm going to reduce that back down to medium. I just kind of wanted to get it up to a boil, and I wanted it to simmer. So once that's down to simmer, I want to throw in about 6 sprigs of thyme. And you can tie these up if you want, or you can just fish them out later. Doesn't matter. And we also want to throw in a bay leaf. bay leaf in there. We'll let that reduce, stir that up a little bit. Don't be afraid of the thyme and the bay leaf. Like I say, some people tie it up. I don't think you have to. They're easy enough to fish out before you serve it. I'm going to let that simmer a little bit longer. We'll get to our next step here. And we're going to throw in 1 cup of chicken broth. Mix that in there. Turn that back up. We want to bring it back to a boil. Alright, so once that starts to boil, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce the chicken back into the pan. We'll grab that. And we'll carefully place this chicken. Set those in there. And we are set for the next step. Okay, so once those start going, we want to take and throw those into the oven. Obviously preheated at 375 degrees. We'll let those cook in there for about an hour. If you want, you can come back in a half hour or so and baste them. That's only optional. But we're going to let these cook, like I said, for about an hour. And we'll come back when they're done. Okay, so while that was cooking, I cooked up some mashed potatoes. I'll pull that out of the oven. And there we go. Take a look at that. Zoom in on that for you. That is coq au vin. Let me serve this up on a plate. Let me show you how it looks all served up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is take this chicken out and put that on a serving plate. After that's all done, we want to bring the sauce that's in the pan back up to simmer, and we're trying to reduce that down and thicken it. Meanwhile, pulling all the thyme and bay leaves out. We want to thicken that up so it becomes a good sauce to pour over the top of our chicken. And there you have it, coq au vin. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please subscribe. I hope to make a lot more videos in the future. And thanks for stopping by.